Hey guys, my name is Dr. Charnel Wolverton Seahon. I'm with Swiftfire, and happy Friday. I am back. I took a little time off of Facebook, and I might actually take a little more time off, but I have a specific important topic that I think might be of interest to you, and it will be very valuable for your life. And so I just thought to bring it up since it's like right on the cusp of what I've been participating in, what has been introduced to me here in the last few days regarding gossip, judgment, intentions, the science behind all of that, and how tricky that can be, and what the science is behind it, and how it can affect you with cause and effect and different things in your body, in your biofield, and just the importance of it. It's extremely important right now for everyone to really get a good grasp on this, for you, for everyone who can hear this. So please do post this, share it, tag it. It's really, really important. I feel like it's very important for where we're at right now. So to tell you real quick, somebody contacted me on my inbox regarding a colleague of mine. And, well, first of all, they asked, hey, can I send you this article that I read that I kept thinking about you? And I was like, well, what is it about? And they said, that they could just send it. And so I was like, okay, not really thinking and not really knowing this person super well, but ish. And so she sends me the article, and within a minute or two of just a sentence or two, I could tell where this article was going. And I immediately stopped, went down to the bottom of the end of it, and then basically put, please do not ever send me anything like this again. Please do not spread and or send me personal gossip and or judgment, and just put an end to it. And then the person was like, kind of responded and was like, hey, it's not gossip, so it's not a big deal. And I was like, okay, well, do you personally know the person in this article that they're writing this about? And she didn't answer the question. I said, do the person who wrote the article know anything about this person personally? Didn't answer the question. I looked up the actual definition of gossip and judgment in case you guys would like to know what that means, because it's really important to you. The word gossip actually means the casual or unrestrained conversation or reports about other people, typically details about a certain person that are not confirmed as true. And the word judgment actually means an opinion or a conclusion that hasn't been confirmed as true. Bob Jones used to say to us all the time, opinions are witchcraft. And I still believe that. I agree with that 100%. And so this article that was written, really a long article too, by the way, of someone that I do personally know. And I'm not sure why anyone wanted me to engage in any of this. But I want to just give you this story because I want you to see how this could apply to you and how this could connect some dots for you. But so my response was, please never send that to me again. That's a good way to stop anyone from doing that to you anymore. And maybe to other people too, of just taking the direct route. But again, this person had said, well, it wasn't my intention to spread gossip. I'm not being malicious. It's not my intention to even send it to you. And I was like, okay, well, do you know what the word intention means? Because the word intention actually means something that's planned. So she didn't accidentally send me this article. Like, she even asked me ahead of time, can I send you this? So there was some definite thought into sending me this specific article. Not an accident. And to be honest, I don't really think she thought it through at all. I don't think that she thought that I would say anything, or maybe she just thought I would read it and either validate it, or I don't know. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. What matters is this is something that happens on a regular basis, not to me, but in just social media on a regular, where people send out things they don't know anything about, whether it's an inbox or an email or a blog or whatever. It's easy for someone to sit behind a computer and send out whatever without confirming whether it's true, without finding out any information about it, without personally having any knowledge about the person that they're talking about. And, and so to be honest with you, I don't know this person very well who sent this to me. But before I even sent anything, let me backtrack. Before she even sent me anything, right after she sent me this, my first thing was I called her. I called her on Facebook Live, like straight, because I wanted her to hear my voice. And she didn't pick up. I called her 5 times straight and she did not pick up. Over and over and over. I said, please pick up the phone. I'd like to talk to you. I thought it was really interesting that she wouldn't pick up the phone. She was quick to send an article and send the pre of the article, but she wouldn't pick up the phone. And that's the thing too, is it's easier, I think, for people to just send something and not care about it or think about the consequences, instead of actually having to talk to someone about what's going on and what they just did and have any kind of accountability or consequence to what they're doing. And it's sad. And so I texted her and I said, hey, I've called you 5 times. Call me when you can. I'd like to talk to you about what you just sent. She didn't say anything. And so finally, I said, I'm calling you again. She didn't say anything. And so I said, okay, well, and in Matthew 18 talks about if your brother sins, which the word sin means just less than love. And brother indicates relationship. So some sort of relationship here has to be done in order to confront someone or talk to someone about it. I should say have communication about it. But she wasn't willing to talk. So she's willing to send something, but she wasn't willing to actually talk about it or face or have any accountability about what she just sent. And I realized she was probably triggered, that maybe I could feel her fear through the Facebook. And I was like, there's no reason to be afraid. Like, pick up the phone. Let's have a conversation about this, because this can be a learning experience. Let's learn something today. Let's remember love. And she still wouldn't pick up. So I spoke with her back and forth, and basically, she said it wasn't her intention. She'll never send me anything like that again. She's so sorry. But I had to argue with her, or at least speak truth, I should say. I didn't want to argue, but I was like, no, actually, you did this on purpose with a plan. You planned on sending it. Now, that's the definition of intention. So, but all of this to be say, let's look at the science behind this, because the only reason why I wanted to talk to her about it and to you guys about it is because there are serious consequences here. And I'm not talking about getting a phone call from me or from someone else, but when you send anything out like that without having any knowledge about what's going on or any truth to what the report is, number one, your limbic system can't tell the difference between fake and real. So, and it has no time and space involved at all. So, like, if I give a check in the offering plate, or to to the person next door to help them with their car or something, then my body registers that as me receiving the money. It can't tell the difference between me giving it to you and me taking it, or me time and space, and there's no separation between any of us. And so there's chemicals that are released in my body as if I'm receiving the money or the check. Same thing with judgment, though, and same thing with gossip. If you dish it out, you're at the same low vibration and a chemical biological situation where you're now receiving, it's like you received the gossip, like someone talked about you, because you're talking about, there is no them. You get what I'm saying? So there's a biological situation here. There's a chemical situation here. And on a quantum realm, there is a biofield situation. So there's three different things here. With the biofield, what happens is because there's code to judgment and to gossip, when it goes out, it goes into this biofield, bio meaning to, radiating out and also magnetizing back in. And so basically you're sending out the code of gossip and judgment, cancel, clear, and at the same time magnetizing that back to you. And like karma and sowing and reaping is getting faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. So in other words, someone will talk about you if you talk about them. Someone will talk about you and spread articles about you on this to the same measure that you do that to someone else. It will be given unto you. That's what the scripture says, and that's what the quantum physics is to the same measure, if not worse, that you have put it out, it will come back to you. And the scriptures even say, he who gives ear to something like this, like eyes, ears, he who gives ear to it, it will be measured the same amount back to you. So it's not just the limbic system, it's the quantum field too, where you're going to bioelectrically have a problem, your problem that you created, me too, like anyone who's doing it. So biological, chemical, and quantum, you're going to have a response. So this is not good for anybody doing this. If you want to look up Titus 3:2, speak evil of no one. James 4:11, do not speak evil against another. And look up Leviticus 19:14, Ephesians 4:29. Let no corruption come out of your mouth. Only good things that build up, okay? And what if it's true? So what if this person actually did have a relationship with the person that they wrote about, and that there was some truth involved? Would you still send it? Okay, the only way I would ever send something out of a negative quote report and or a truthful factual report that may come across as negative, not gossip and not judgment, but I mean truth. The only reason why I would do that is if I was in partnership with someone, whether it was a colleague that I had spent lots of time with, and everyone saw us as one and saw us as people that work together, and or, you know, a partnership as far as like a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, whatever. If you are involved in any of that, and then that person steals or lies or does something terrible to defame themselves, and you're just like, hey, for the record, that doesn't speak for me. God bless them. I love them. Good luck with that. But that, please hear me, that I have my own understanding of what I believe. That would be the only time. And I would really have to pray about sending something out if that was the case. And I have had to do that probably maybe 3 times in my life. I'm almost 50 years old. Where I've actually had to, and this was after I spoke with the person multiple times. We've had groups of people who went and tried to talk to these people. And it was a really, really big deal to be able to have to actually publicly, for the record, disassociate myself from an individual or an organization, because I want to know anyone to think that I had anything to do with their belief system. Does that make sense? It would have to, and like, again, that's probably happened 3 times ever. And that was after I went and talked to them and said, hey, you know, what's up with that? You know, I love you, but what's going on? And we have a conversation about it. If that didn't work, go bring some other people. If that didn't work, maybe have to go separate ways. Still love them from afar, forgive them, but go separate ways and make a public statement and say, hey, just for the record, this person, as you know, probably did this, and blah, blah, blah. Now, and that would only too be if it was already public about the person. Does that make sense? I hope you guys are following me. If something was done under wraps, you don't need to make a public statement about stuff. Like, let God deal with it. So, okay. Now, going back to if it's true, even if it's true. So let's say this person did know the person and it was true, whatever was written about them. Do you have to say anything? What's the point of still spreading it around unless you're in that partnership and you're trying to make sure there's a real strong line on your end of like, hey, I'm over here, they're over there. I love that person, but whatever. That's the only reason why. Otherwise, there's no reason to continue, even if it is true. It doesn't make any, it's senseless. And again, you're going to have to run into the biological issue, the chemical issue, and the quantum issue, where it will come back to you, 100%. It will come back to you to the measure you participated in it. It will come back. And so, I hope that this is helpful. We have to be careful. Proverbs says, guard your heart above all else. Above all else, it says, guard your heart, for out of it comes the outflow, or the spring. And you know, when I looked up guard, it doesn't mean guard as in protect me, like, oh my gosh, don't let anything get me. It doesn't mean that. The actual word guard doesn't mean guard like that. It means be aware of, be watchful over. So watch over your heart. Be aware of your own heart, because it's the wellspring of life, meaning it is the biggest generator of electronic waves that your whole body can make, even more than your brain. So why would Scripture say anything like that? Why would God care for us to watch over our hearts? Because it's the wellspring. It is the spring of all energy. It's the biggest generator of the waves that create. So it's for our protection, because God knows the law, and the law is whatever you put out, you're creating and you're magnetizing it back to you. It was a warning. It was a loving warning, just like this thing that I'm telling you right now. This is a loving warning. I really choose for all of us to get in a place where we're only speaking life, where we're only emitting truth, love, and positivity, especially through Facebook, social media, inboxes, emails. I think, again, it's getting way too easy for people to sit behind a computer and send something off without thinking about any consequences. But there are consequences, whether you think there are or not. There are still consequences, biological, chemical, and quantum, in the quantum field. And you will see it faster than you've ever seen it. So, anyway, I'm not mad. I just love you. And I love this person, and I do really truly see our hearts in alignment, and for people to really hold space for people, and to have grace for people, and to have direct conversations. If someone comes to you and brings something through the phone or an email or anything, you know, what can you do? What can you do? I'll tell you what, you can call them up and say, hey, I'm not sure why you sent that to me, but please don't ever do that again. If someone calls you to talk about your neighbor or your friend or your family member, hey, I would rather not listen to that because I'd like to keep my energy clear, but thank you. If you need a counselor, go freaking get a counselor, get a therapist. You know, I'm not saying that people can't ever vent or talk to someone about issues that are happening, because I've had stuff happen too. But when I go talk to someone, I'm talking to someone who already sees victory in the situation, who's there because they're a facilitator for seeing miracles already happening. Does that make sense? Don't go to someone who's going to agree with you and partner with you and participate with you and get that low energy vibration amplified and passed around, when you can talk to someone who, I have some great friends. I have a lot of great friends who, if anything comes up, first of all, I'm going to say, is this even anything to speak out loud? Is this sacred? Do I just hold this in my heart with God and me? Or can I talk to someone? Do I even need to talk to someone? And of course, maybe my husband or somebody like that. But guess what? Anyone that I do choose to talk to is going to already see that person in victory, me in victory. They're going to hear what I'm going to say. They're going to love me and that person into wholeness. They're not going to be hit with toxicity over it. And they're going to be able to help clear the situation. But, then again, do you even need anyone to talk it through? That's a good question for yourself. So, is this helpful for anyone? I would love to know if anyone's even following me with what I'm saying. But I do hope that you guys will take this to heart, literally. And I do hope that you will tag and share and help some other people and have a pre-plan. Because I bet you there's certain people that you can think of right now as we're even sitting here that have called you in the past and dumped whatever on you, or, run it by through prayer. There's like secret ways to get gossip out too. It's like, hey, please pray for so-and-so because they're cheating on their wife, or can you please pray for so-and-so because I heard blah, 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 blah. It's like, that's also gossip. Instead of, please see so-and-so in victory, you can say it like that and still have positive vibes without, and if they're like, oh my gosh, well, what's going on? Can you tell me? No. We're not going there. Keep things sacred. Keep people sacred. See God in everything. See God in everyone. Love everyone as much as you would love yourself. And think to yourself, I asked this lady straight up through text because she wouldn't pick up the phone. I was like, even if it was true, if someone came to you and said, hey, you know what? I have a problem with this. And you guys disagreed in the end, and you still disagreed. Would you want them to write an article about it, about you and your disagreement and what all the things that you don't believe or you do believe, and then send out an article about it? And she didn't answer the question because I think it's pretty obvious. She probably wouldn't want anyone to spread out like whatever she believes. So, I don't know. I do know. My first choice is love. My first choice is truth. My first choice is purity and honesty and integrity, meaning being fully integrated, mind, body, and spirit with God, in source, in union. And so, bless all of you, love all of you. I'm fasting still-ish. And I'm taking, like I said, I might not be here for a couple of days again, at least on Facebook, but I did want to pop in and just say this. And I love all of you so much, and I care about your biofield, and I care about your chemistry, and I care about what's coming out of your mouth and what is coming in your ears, whether it's on TV or the radio or a phone call. Be prepared and know what you're going to do the next time someone calls. Maybe you'll just see the caller ID and go, nope, not today. I already know what that's going to be about, so we're not even going there. Right? You have absolute guardianship over your heart, over your gates of your ears, over your mouth. You get the choices to even think what you're thinking. So be disciplined with that. The word discipline coming from disciple. be disciplined as we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of our God, and we take captive every thought and we make it obedient. How do we make it obedient? We replace it. We pray for people. We send good vibes. We put in different words in our mind and think victory for people instead of the worst case scenario. We image a nation. We use our imagination for the positive. So those are my thoughts on judgment, intention. Yeah, and when this lady finally, she did respond, and she was like, I'm sorry, I'm just not up for a confrontation right now, which I Googled confrontation. Confrontation actually means a hostile argument. I wasn't wanting to have a hostile argument. I was actually just choosing to have a conversation that would maybe bring some light and some perspective to what she was participating in, because I truly do believe, she said that it wasn't her intention, but that's not true because it wasn't an accident. But I don't think she realizes how flippantly she's participated and got herself entangled in something really low energy, low frequency. And you know what? We've all done it. We've all participated and we've all been entangled, and we've all just hit the like button or hit the down thumbs button or sent something off or agreed in some level of some post that someone, and it just as simple as liking something or not liking something or sending something, that is still your energetic agreement, disagreement, response, tagging, sharing. I don't think people are as awake to the level that we're at right now. But this is where we're at, and don't get yourself entangled. Don't participate. I'm committing to do everything I can to stay in love and stay in purity and stay in integrity. So that's my Friday. Love y'all. All right. Peace out, peeps.